What is going on, guys? It is your boy Cali Mac on the track. Now we're bringing it back. Welcome to Strawhat Sitdown, episode 144.
Stop. Let's go.
Yes, so let's go.
You know what? I paused there because it's throwing me off. Normally, I look at myself while I'm talking, and now I'm looking at my Jolly Roger, and it just threw off my whole mojo. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a little different, man.
Unfortunately, God can't look at my beautiful face today. Having some camera issues, but the Jolly Roger will hold it down. And you get to look at my co-crew's amazing faces instead. We got Strawhat in the building. What's going on, my brother?
What's good, y'all? What's good? Nothing much. It's still dealing with snow over here on my end of the world, you know. But other than that, you know, I'm doing good. Ready to get into this One Piece discussion. So let's get it.
Yeah, that snow is a bitch. That snow is definitely a bitch.
It is.
Mr. G will be missing this episode once again. He's still out doing his thing, living his life. Big shout outs to him. He actually, if he was here, I'll do the segment for him, because if he was here, he would be showing off his amazing new One Piece tattoo that he showed me of Bartholomew Kuma. I think he got it on his leg, shoulder.
Oh damn.
Yeah, he showed me on his on Instagram. Really dope piece. It's from the panel where he's running. Where it's sick. It's mad sick. That's sick. I'm sure it definitely shows when he gets back. But shout out to him. Hope he's being safe, having fun, all that good stuff.
Yep.
Last but not least, that boy Wyatt's in the building. What's going on, my brother?
I'm chilling, man. I've had a good start to the year, I feel like, and now it's only getting better because there's a chapter this week, and you know we needed that. That last one was on. I checked; it was actually December 27th, so almost 3 weeks ago. So yeah, I'm excited to get back chapter. For now, it's time to argue over some hot takes. I think we will mostly be on the same side of these. But yeah, no, I'm excited for a good episode, man.
I might stir the pot just cause I feel like stirring the pot.
No, hell yeah. I threw some in there because I knew you would agree.
That's my guy right there. That's my guy. Yeah, like I said, we are on break week this week, so we're gonna be waiting one more week until we get a chapter. So we decided to go over some One Piece hot takes. Yes, shout out to Wyatt again. He's compiled a list of a whole bunch of takes from you guys all over the internet, from Twitter to Reddit, etc. And we're just gonna go over each of them, talk about what we agree, we disagree, etc, stuff like that. Oh, you know what? I don't want to serious this out too much. I know this is a One Piece podcast, but I do want to send thoughts and prayers, especially to our California listeners. There's a lot of raging wildfires out there right now. A lot of people are devastated, losing homes, etc. And I just want to send prayers, thoughts, condolences to all our California listeners. You know,
sure.
That's when things get better. Yeah. With that being said, let's get into it. Hot takes from the community. This ought to be a doozy. Alright, I'm gonna pull it up on the screen so you guys can see as well. We're gonna start with the very first one. Wyatt says compiled the list. I'm just gonna go through them one at a time. And the first one is Gear 5 ruins tension, or is it an ass transformation? Y'all just brain dead power scalers for saying that. This is Voyager Pi 10342 on Twitter.
And for clarification, right, these first few Twitter ones are like in response to a bigger tweet about what needs to stay in 2024. So this person is like, yeah, everyone that says Gear 5 is ass or it ruins tension are brain dead power scalers for saying that.
Oh, okay, so he's saying the people that are saying this take need to stay in 2024.
Yeah. Specifically calling them brain dead power scalers, which is a little much. Right?
I mean, a little much. Yeah, I don't think any of us really agree with this statement, right? Like,
Well,
let
me see. Wait, Gear 5 ruins tension, or is it ass transformation? No, I don't agree with it, but I see where they're coming from. Like, in terms of like tension, I mean, it's definitely. I don't think that's like a take that's so outrageous that you could just dismiss it. I think it does have some validity to some degree for people, especially if you think about like why people watch or consume One Piece in any kind of way. You do gotta admit that Gear 5 does change things a little bit. Like, even if things are rooted in like, goofiness and stuff in One Piece is to some degree, there's levels to it, right? And Gear 5, he reaches a whole new level that damn near might feel like it's a whole entirely different medium altogether that you're even reading or watching.
You
know what I mean?
I would argue that to say that I don't think that it's necessarily Gear 5 as a transformation, because I think we can agree that like you said, the silly goofiness, it plays into the themes of Luffy and his character. The free spiritedness of the transformation. At least me personally, I say it fits Luffy. I'm pretty sure we can agree on that. That it fits Luffy at the very least.
Absolutely.
I think that the issue that people come into with the ruining of tension isn't with the transformation in itself, but it's just with the progress that Luffy has made. If this transformation was super serious and all of the same events occurred, he ended up beating Kaido, he gets the Egghead, he smokes Luffy, he smokes the Gorosei. If all of these events occur with a more serious transformation, we hear the same things. Because it's not the transformation that people feel ruins the tension, it's the fact that Luffy is so strong now that he's strong enough to remove the tension via his strength. You know what I'm saying? All the fights I think a lot of people just see that Luffy is going to win or dog walk his opponent, and I don't think that the transformation itself is to blame for that.
Yeah, I think a few things go into tension in the last few arcs, and in Wano specifically, like Luffy, losing twice, and Kaido not really making much of an impact after Luffy lost. Like, he fought Yamato for a little bit to his, like while Luffy was injured or whatever. Part of it, right? I think what I think is my main point. I might have a problem with Gear 5 in this sense is that I actually think Luffy's demeanor is the one thing that I'm like kind of worried about. And I remember in Wano, I was like, Luffy showed that he could be serious. Like in the very end, he was being very like, he wasn't like giddy or laughing or anything when he was talking about the kind of world he wanted to make, right? When he punched Kaido in the end, and in Egghead, there's lots of moments like when he becomes giant and he grabs Kizaru and Gorosei Saturn and says, "You guys aren't going anywhere." There's a lot of moments where Luffy becomes menacing, almost like scary character. But like, when he sees Vegapunk get stabbed and he's like eyes popping out, like, "Whoa, what's going on?" You know what I mean? I feel like there's some times where that can kind of make me feel like Luffy, are you taking this seriously? That's my only problem with that. I don't think people are brain dead power scalers, but I also think like calling it ass is crazy. It's an amazing transformation for Luffy in terms of like what you said, Callie, how it matches him as a character, how it matches the themes of One Piece. In my opinion, I could probably make a whole hour-long episode about that. So I think that's also obviously wrong. So I think I'm in two minds. I kind of see the people he's criticizing, but I also agree with him. There's no way it's an ass transformation. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think like you said, the power, the thing about saying like it's only brain dead power scalers saying that is entirely not true. Like people that there were people that are not power scalers and despise power scalers that didn't like that didn't like Gear 5 either. And it's because like, when we all watch One Piece, even though we might be getting the same things out of it, the way we perceive it from the portrayal of the entire series altogether might be completely different. Like someone who's reading this or watching this might think that this is just a fun-loving, goofy anime or manga or whatever, and it shouldn't be taken seriously at all, like on some boba bullshit, right?
big reference, holy shit.
Yeah, or it's like it is serious, and there's like tones that match more like a Dragon Ball Z type, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it just depends on who you talk to about it, and I don't think that like if one way or the other, like, oh, if you dislike Gear 5, you're therefore like a power scaler. Like, it's just a weird take to me. Like, I don't think that's true at all. Because I remember seeing designs of what Gear 5 was going to be like. Like, I don't know if y'all seen them.
Gear Death.
Gear Death.
It was wild, bro.
Like the old Gear 5 designs that I seen on like Reddit or Twitter or whatever, it looked basically like a Sun Wukong transformation or something like that, because people were theorizing like, as Luffy gets more gears, he's gonna resemble more like either Sun Wukong and stuff like that, which would have been dope as well. Funny enough, I do think he kind of resembles Sun Wukong to some degree in Gear 5 right now. But regardless, the designs were a lot more like on the nose back then. So I'm just saying, and people were loving it too. No matter who you talk to, they weren't even like power scalers or nothing. These were just people that like drew and made designs. Like, so people had a lot of expectations of what Gear 5th was going to be like. And honestly, once they seen it, some of those expectations were shattered, power scaler or not, you know? So that's just, you know, how it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we definitely agree. There's like a lot of ways to take stuff, and that's gonna be the theme throughout this, right? It's gonna be like a very hard, like one extreme stance, and we're gonna be more in the middle. But
yeah,
I think we can say we don't agree on that one at least.
All right.
Or fully.
Yeah, that one is pretty ass, but it'll be like that. We're gonna see a couple of those. Next one. If you don't like the One Piece chapter, then you only care about power scale.
So I think this person is saying that.
Yes.
I think this person is saying that people with that opinion.
Yeah, no, I get it. It is. Yeah. If you don't like the One Piece chapter, you only care about power scale. I feel like that don't even make sense.
Yeah, I feel like that was a bit of like a specific example.
Yeah, it
like,
had to be about a specific chapter.
But I think why I added this was that I think that there's a lot of people that, I mean, Kylie, I think you might have missed this episode, but we might have been talking about that whole is the Saul reunion a little cheap? Does Robin's flashback lose emotional value because Saul is still alive? Blah blah. We had like a bit of a breakup talking about that, and one thing we kind of discussed was that people don't like when you criticize One Piece. I think a lot of One Piece fans are very territorial almost, or like very sensitive.
Yeah.
So I think this might be a reflection of that, of like. I'm allowed to I'm allowed to not like a One Piece chapter, and you guys are like people reduce it to X, Y, or Z. I think this is a very specific one. Maybe we don't have to agree on the specific example, but that's why I brought it up. I thought that was a very pertinent discussion in the current One Piece sphere community. Like chapters feel kind of uncriticizable.
Yeah, they are uncriticizable. You can't say nothing. I mean, yeah, and then. What's also like this person is pointing out in their tweet, like, you know, you only, if you don't like the chapter, oh, you're a power scaler, like, let's get out of here. Like, I don't understand. You know, that's one thing I don't understand about this community is the visceral towards anybody that likes to, you know, power scale at any kind of degree. Like, they make it seem like this anytime I see someone say something like this, they make it to me, it makes me feel like that they think that this is just a random ass anime that anything goes type thing. Like Oda didn't establish his own rule set. Like Oda doesn't make it like in a consistent story base. Like when mangaka or storytellers in general have like, you know, any kind of fighting, they're going to establish like rule sets or whatever to make the story more consistent, more whatever, and that's where power scalers come in to try to weave through the nuances to make the story make sense. Because if one day we saw, and I used this example before, if one day we saw Don Krieg just roll up and like roll up in the New World and just knock out Big Mom one shot and then roll away and call it a day, we're not going to sit there and just like, you know, be like, oh yeah, that's great storytelling. Like, you know, like we're just not going to do that. Like, so like the visceral, I say all this just to say that, like, you know, people can critique the story and they don't have to be, again, power scalers. And this whole, you know, all shrugging it off because, oh, you must be a power scaler. Like, stop doing that too, because like that doesn't even coincide with what you're talking about with the chapter. Some people just genuinely don't like slower paced chapters, or they don't like lower based chapters for whatever reason, or the chapter might just legit have some criticisms because of this, that, and the third. But like you said, if it's the Saul one, you know, we saw a lot of like discourse over that. Like Mr. Morgan, he's not a power scaler, but he had problems with that. So it's just like,
yeah, people be hating. People just want to see Rubberman go burr, and I feel like that's the biggest part of the issue.
I completely agree, Maud, because you know I'm not much of a power scaler myself, but I think it's crazy for people to watch other people read or enjoy One Piece in whatever way they want to, and be like, oh my god, all you guys care about is power scalers. Why do you care what I'm up to, dog? Like you can like One Piece and talk about it however you want to with your friends, right? Like
exactly.
Yeah, I completely
like
agree with you.
Everybody enjoys One Piece their own type of way, and it's like if you don't like power scaling, don't power scale. Then just talk about the lore, talk about like talk about your favorite Straw Hat, and talk about Nami's bosoms as much as you want. Like you can,
that's real.
You can stay in that lane, and you can ship whoever. You could talk about One Piece ships. You could talk about how amazing the world building is. You could do all that, but the minute someone power scales, you got an issue. You could just stay in your lane and just ignore it. But no, you just whatever.
Yeah, niggas always want to tell other niggas how to live.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. All right, let's keep it pushing.
Yes, sir.
Next take is whoops. I miss pre-time skip, post-time skip. One Piece is bad.
Oh no, this is a popular one.
This is a pretty popular one.
Yeah,
I think that there's definitely differences between pre-time skip and post-time skip, and I can definitely see where people come from in terms of missing the nostalgia. Because that pre-time skip definitely has a certain feel to it. There's definitely a certain vibe to it that is almost unreplicable. But to say that post-time skip is bad, I think that I want to go out on a limb and say that post-time skip is overall better than pre-time skip. But I have to really sit down and think about it because they definitely both have their ups and downs. But to say post-time skip One Piece is bad is crazy, for sure.
Yeah, that last part is just like we're not gonna.
Yeah.
Here's what I say to that, and let me know if you guys agree to this.
For sure.
I will say that the peak of One Piece is from pre-time skip, and I'm just going to say it's probably Enies Lobby. Like all of One Piece, the best moment in all of One Piece comes from pre-time skip, and that's like Water 7 and Enies Lobby, because that arc is amazing. Hell, we did our tournament in that, and we had that as like the number one. But I will say the lowest points of One Piece in terms of like enjoyment, in my opinion, also comes from pre-time skip. Because I will say that like I wasn't a fan of Thriller Bark like whatsoever. Outside of like the Kuma moment and stuff like that. Like everything else was cool. But if you told me that I could skip that, I honestly probably would. Whereas like what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, everything post time skip of One Piece I don't feel like is that skippable. Even though like the lowest points, like if I had to compare like Thriller Bark to Punk Hazard, I'm choosing Punk Hazard over Thriller Bark. And I think Punk Hazard is like probably one of the lower points of post time skip.
Mm-hmm.
But like the highs of post time skip are, in my opinion, like very, very bursty, very consistent in terms of like overall enjoyment. So it's like it's really, really up there. They just haven't surpassed Enies Lobby, but like that's like the highest point of One Piece in general, like just period, point blank. You know what I mean? So everything else falls in like an in between. You know,
I think I agree. And I think like I actually wanted to ask you guys straight up, like if you guys had a gun to your head, which one would you say is better for this reason? Like because it's actually kind of a discussion to be had, right? Because I completely agree that saying post time One Piece is bad is like just genuinely the craziest shit I ever heard in my life, and like you can just say you're not a fan of One Piece totally, you know what I mean? Because why are you still reading it if you think a majority of the story is bad, right? However long we've been here, but I do think there's like it's kind of interesting to think about which one people like you might like better. I don't know what I would say. I would probably say pre, but I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean pre. I mean, I got into One Piece because of pre, so I'm going to say pre. But like, because you can't, I couldn't imagine someone just skipping pre and just going straight post. You know what I mean? I guess you could do it theoretically, right? If you were to start off from like the
What,
2 year,
Fishman?
start off from the 2 year time skip. Luffy comes back. You have no context. Could you start One Piece like that?
Nah, like you get to the Saul, flashback in Egghead, and you're like, why are they crying, right? Like, yeah, you can't. This is not a valid One Piece experience. I'm sorry.
You don't think that someone could piece that together on their own? I
think that it becomes a problem later into post time skip. I think the first few arcs, maybe up to like Dressrosa, I think you can get through that and not have too much of an issue. I think Dressrosa is pretty good in terms of a standalone arc. You know what I mean? A lot of the stuff that happens on Dressrosa is native to Dressrosa specifically. But I think once you pass that and then you go to the elephant, that's when the lore starts coming in, and then whole cake, you're like, why are we going this hard over the cook? Like, you're not it's not gonna hit the same.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's the biggest thing with like the bond between the Straw Hats is established so strongly pre-time skip, which I think is actually why I think pre-time skip is, if I had to put a gun to my head and say which one I might like more, I just really appreciate pre-time skip's Straw Hat focus, like as a collector. And I think that's why those peaks you mentioned, Mod, are the peaks, because like these moments hit so hard because we're so invested in them and they're like the central focus. But also another thing is that like One Piece has to evolve, man. Like post-time skip is One Piece getting into this grand, form of what it's supposed to be, like an epic, right? A tale of all these things coming together. So it's kind of par for the course that we're on to bigger and more world important things. So it's part of watching or reading a series. So I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, same. I mean, I feel
bro, we definitely involved in this shit.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same when it comes to that. I think also the sense of, just to make this point too, I think also some of that sentiment I've seen before of post time skip One Piece being bad comes from a few different things. Like, some people will say that post time skip is just reusing old pre-time skip themes.
Yeah, people are big on like inversion theories and all that.
Yeah. That also, a lot of people do not like how Sanji's been made as like a what's the word I'm looking for?
Horny?
Kind of like a punching bag. Like a punching bag to the story, in the sense of like, when he goes up against people, he's always like, either getting injured or hurt or whatever, and it's like he's getting taken out. Like Doflamingo, the Virgo incident as well. Also, they don't like how Sanji's character became like basically a caricature of like his.
I can't lie. In Fishman Island, it was bad. It was actually bad. Yeah. He was wilding. And I think for like the fighting stuff, I kind of get that, but I will say that was just early, right? Like in Punk Hazard and Fishman Island and Dressrosa, I'm not gonna lie, the fact that he even kind of started off was kind of tough. But I think that later on in Post Time Skip, Sanji's one of the best characters in my opinion. Like Whole Cake into Wano is some of the best drive focus we've gotten in Post Time Skip in my opinion. So
yeah.
So it all evened out to me.
Yeah, and there's other things that people said about post time skip too, but that's generally where it comes from. It's like these comparisons from like what they did before, like you said, also less. It seems less Straw Hat centered because everybody's always splitting up as well.
Yeah.
I know
there's other stuff to focus on too.
Yeah, I know a lot of people also had a big problem with like Nami and Robin's like chest designs, because they weren't that proportionate like that from 2 years ago to now. So I get that too. There's just a lot, but so I see where this comes from. So I'm not even like entirely mad at it, but yeah, post time skip is definitely not bad though.
Yeah, we absolutely agree.
Yeah, I think it's just a little bit of an extenuous statement. It's just a little bit. I can definitely see where it comes from though. Next one. What we got? Dissing One Piece watchers.
I think. We can genuinely skip that.
So this is. I mean, what?
I feel like do we really have much of an opinion on this? Like, who even this is One Piece watchers?
No one.
I do. Yeah. Fuck One Piece.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
really?
I fuck with One Piece. Mid pace, whack pace, bad pace.
Nah, he's not
trash
serious.
Pace.
He's not serious at all.
Yo, that ass. What do you mean, bro? One Piece cuts the episodes in a way that also takes out some of the context and smaller details that get put in the episodes from the panels in the manga. I like this the general. I respect the general mission that One Piece is trying to go for, but I definitely don't think it does it the best way. I still recommend the regular anime over One Piece.
So do you feel like, because I never really watched One Piece because I never really needed to, because I enjoy the anime still, even though like I obviously acknowledge the basic problem, but either way, do you feel like that they're taking details out that even the manga has or something?
There's not. It doesn't happen often. I remember there was a specific Twitter video that showed a scene between the regular anime and One Piece. Oh, fuck, I cannot remember for the life of me what the scene. I'm trying to remember what the scene was, but I can't for the life of me remember it. But I remember it showing that it cut out a lot more than it needed to. And while I'm sure for some scenes that's good for like the extra fillery staring at each other for 20-second scenes, things like that, I'm sure it's good for those aspects. I do think that sometimes it takes a little bit more, and in some cases it is extra details that would otherwise be nice call outs to the manga, call outs, that's the word I'm looking for. There was a specific example I had, but I can't for the life of me remember, so my point is hard to
okay, that's fair. I didn't even know that they did stuff like that. That's a pretty fair criticism then. I don't. We might really have to diss One Piece watchers, man.
Oh dang, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, I guess it's like a question of like how much they save versus how much they cut, because truly though, I watched those comparisons and man, those stare downs, bro. Like
yeah, it's bad. It is bad. Like
I'm also a big manga elitist. I'm not gonna lie, so I'm probably a little skewed opinion. But yeah, okay, damn, I guess fair. I guess One Piece has its issues.
Yeah, it'd be like that. Shout out to the One Piece watchers.
I think next one's a bit of a repeat. I think it's a Gear 5 one. So
Gear 5 is bad. Takes need to be eradicated. Yeah, this is kind of a repeat, right? Yeah, we kind of went over this already. Yeah. We still need to know the 10th crew member. It's Vivi. It's freaking Vivi. I don't care what anyone thinks. It has always been Vivi.
This is based in my opinion.
Hey, I feel that. I feel that.
This is a banger One Piece thing. This will take out what shake a nigga's hand for, I think.
I can see the meta.
Man. I don't want to be a hater.
Please, that's what we need.
Yeah, no, it's a discussion. Go ahead.
I get why Vivi is an ideal Straw Hat candidate, and this may be bias of me. This may be the shonen in me talking, but I don't want to see Vivi fighting on the Straw Hats, bruh. Vivi, what is Vivi about to do, dude? She's about to sit Karu on fellas or use her little
whatever they're called, bolas.
Yeah, whatever them shits are, bro. Like, what is she really about to do? I get the theories is that she's gonna be the diplomat for the Straw Hats, the liaison, and communicating,
bro.
Well,
wait,
I feel like
she's gonna get Kuma's pop off.
What?
Wait, have you actually never heard this
that was a theory. You never heard that theory?
Never heard that. No.
There's a big theory for a lot of reasons, and so first off, the biggest one is that back in like time skip era, like someone's like, yo, all the Straw Hats, the Japanese names have corresponding numbers for all their devil fruits, and all of them add up to 10, right? Like Gomu is 5 or whatever, right? And it works out for all of them: Chopper, Robin, Brook, or whatever. And so they're like, yo, the only one left is the Niku. So what, 2 and 7 or 2 and 8 or whatever, blah blah blah. And so someone's like, yo, is Kuma gonna join the Straw Hats? And Oda's like, that's a very interesting thing that you noticed that I will not say anything about. Like he's being like sneaky about it, very clearly, like, oh, you kind of got me, right? And so obviously it was like it's not gonna be Kuma, I assume. And then now that what's Lily, we saw that somehow Lily was the one who got the poneglyphs to spread around the world. The only way she could do that, like by herself, was the pawpaw fruit. Some people think she had that. There's other reasons that I can't remember off the top of my head, but I assume she'll get the devil fruit, the pawpaw fruit, Vivi. And another reason why it's good that she'll get it, if she does get it, if she joins the crew, they can use it to like fly around and like get places very quickly during the final war or whatever. If they have to backtrack, I think it's a clutch fruit to have. But anyway, that's fair. That's fair. If she doesn't get it, she's not that much of a fighter. But also the reason I really like this take, back to the main take, is that I think I never liked Yamato as a Straw Hat. In fact, I struggled to like her as a character at all because I really feel like she was literally just to stop Kaido from killing people during the Luffy downtime. So I'm a hater. This is motivated on spite. So
I think Vivi, I think the whole point that Oda was trying to make with Vivi is that like she's a honorary Straw Hat, and by the sense that she's not going to be like actively playing pirate, and that's the I won't say playing pirate because they're not playing pirate, but you know what I mean. Like she's not going to take the role of being a pirate.
Yeah,
and
Right.
Because her main objective and her place in terms of like being useful to everybody, including the Straw Hats, is going to be as the princess or queen now, I guess, of Alabasta.
rip a goat.
Yeah. And being on the world stage to make things better for everybody, including the Straw Hats, and doing the work that, they couldn't do as like, like a princess or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think saying she's the 10th Straw Hat is funny in like a meta narrative sense. You know what I mean? Like meta, like narratively in a meta way, she is the 10th Straw Hat, but we know it in a layman's way what people mean by the 10th Straw Hat. A 10th member to join the crew, sail around with the Straw Hats, fight, play a role, etc., etc., etc. That's what they typically mean. So in that sense, I mean, I could see obviously Vivi be reunited with the Straw Hats considering her situation, obviously, but as like a full-blown, like, layman's 10th Straw Hat, I just can't see that. I think that Oda chose what role she's going to play, and he's trying to stick with that. And we see that like, all over here. Now she might need protection though, just because of like, Emu on her ass and stuff like that. But
yeah, I'm definitely not completely against the idea. It's just he's so frail, man. All right, whatever. I'm being a hater. It's fine. I'm being a hater.
you just like, man, she just needs to fight, bro.
Yeah,
like she needs to be.
Like if she gets the poor fruit, I'm okay with it. But again, that's the shonen brain in me. Want to see big fight go bear. So
Your time skip, man. She was training, bro. Anyway.
Hey, that'd be some shit if she does come. Like, because I mean, it's possible, right?
Yo,
like,
what if she saw the message? She's like, yo, 2 years, man.
Yo, stay
woke. Oh,
stay
she used the newspaper
woke.
to talk to them this arc. So
yeah.
Hey.
You're not wrong.
True. Hey, so what if she was? Hey, what if she was training? What if she got hockey? What if she got hockey?
We're going too far. Oh man.
All right, let's keep going. We got a decent amount of these. Yeah, let's move a little bit. Wano is the best and worst arc in the series at the same time somehow. I am not mad at this take.
Yo, I completely understand.
Yeah, I completely understand.
I understand too. I completely get it.
Yeah, Wano has had some of the highest peaks in the series at the same time, has had some very confusing elements, and I don't want to say lows because I feel like lows is a bit much. I feel like the low points in Wano I wouldn't call low points in the series. You know what I mean? But
I would say just like under delivery.
Yes.
Like like just under deliver on some aspects. But yeah, not like, you know what I mean, like lowest points per se, because it's really not. And that's where I wanted to ask you why, Huss. Did you see this reminds me, did you see JD Legends video about
I heard about it and I started the video
Yeah.
and then I realized I didn't really want to listen to it, but I probably agree with a lot of the stuff they say.
Yeah, he basically said that Wano, for him, Wano was the worst arc in the entire series, and that like, you know, changed his outlook on One Piece. It went from being his favorite manga or series of all time to now not his favorite, but it's still like up there for him. And I was like, damn, that is sheesh.
I thought that was like I actually saw that part of it and I was like, even though I agreed with a lot of what I heard, heard as major points or whatever, I'm like, yo, I feel like that's like a bit reactionary, like it's one arc. There's 10 arcs before it you loved, you know what I mean? Like, you might really like Egghead, but I also feel like, being in a unique position of a big content creator, I haven't talked about. I think one thing about Wano, man, I think the popularity of One Piece and the type of arc that Wano was as it was getting really, really popular, like out here, I think.
Yeah.
The quality of conversation around chapters and moments and stuff is in the gutter in some places, as we saw in some of those quote tweets that I had to go through. But that's a meta reason. It's not really has to do with Wano itself.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point though. It's definitely a good point to make.
Yeah,
not 100% mad at this take. What's next? We got the One Piece fan base is the least funny fan base I've ever been a part of and desperately needs new material. I could not disagree more with this statement. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I think they might have brought up some exact examples, like talking about like the basic lame ones, like Soy King is not Usopp, stuff like that. I agree that there's some really outplayed one, like super outplayed ones, or played out ones that are like whatever. But no, some of these niggas on Twitter, they're comedians, bro. They should love their time.
Literally, one of the funniest anime jokes ever is from for me personally, one of the funniest anime memes. It's from the One Piece community. It's the video of LeBron celebrating his championship. And and the caption is Fire Fist Ace when he wakes up in hell thinking he awakened his devil fruit.
Oh, crazy.
That's one of the funniest jokes I've ever heard in my life. I shit you not, bro. That shit is so fucking funny, dude.
Yeah, man.
And then the music plays and shit. Yeah, no, it's so funny. Yeah, no, I disagree. Yeah. Well, I think there's very few unfunny anime fan bases. I think most of these fan bases have their unfunny people,
moments and people.
I think it's social media in general and meme culture. It's just the funniest shit is always gonna get pushed through the top through retweets, algorithm, whatever. So like, there's always gonna be funny shit no matter what fan base you're in, for real.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then every time I'm always getting weak at the One Piece fan base because the One Piece fan base is the most agenda reactionary, meme worthy, community of any anime community. Because as soon as a chapter comes out, and it has anything to do with either Shanks versus Mihawk, there's like 10 memes already of someone getting shat on the other in some type of way. Like they'll take that exact either quote or they'll take that panel and they'll overlap it with something ridiculous when for example when Mihawk said to Buggy like, you expect us to take on like Luffy, Blackbeard, and Shanks, like they're they took that and someone took that and was like, you really expect me to get my ass whooped by Shanks twice? Like I was like, no, like,
oh my God.
Bruh.
Yeah, they're too funny, man. The dragon slander all of Egghead, that was generational, bro.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Like I look at the comment section immediately after reading some chapters because I be dying. Like
I think my favorite Egghead meme, like ongoing, was like it would be like 1086, 1087, and like 1087 would come out and they would cross it out and they'd have a dragon picture and it's like, okay, don't worry guys, 1089, and then they would cross it out and it would keep going until like 1110 and then cross it out. They'd be like, yeah, no, this next chapter is Dragon's chapter, and they would just keep crossing it out because he never showed up. That fucking killed me every single week, man. So yeah, we definitely disagree with that. They're hilarious.
That's funny. All right, next one. Hordy Jones worked fine in his role as an arc villain. So did Wapo.
Is this it?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say this is still in response to the
No, the last few, like the last two have been
just their takes. Just their hot takes.
Oh,
yeah.
I agree with him. Maybe not Wapo so much, but I agree with him about Hordy Jones.
I actually agree. Like I would say that his wording applies more to Wapo, and I actually think Hordy Jones was good in his arc villain role. But that's me. Like I think Wapo was cool, you know, like he was a good antagonist for the idea of like, you know, like hoarding the doctors and, you know, being like a slave, right, like driver basically, and, you know, consolidating resources for himself and, you know, hurting the people. Like he was a great villain for that. He was cool. But I think Hordy Jones, like I think Fishman Island and its themes about, you know, like the situation that you grow up in, you know, the cycle of violence. I think that was great, and I think Hordy Jones was a great example that Oda used. So yeah, I agree with this point as well.
Yeah,
I agree. No, you know what? I do agree, and yeah, I guess you guys agree as well. Yeah, because I was gonna say, I think that while Hordy Jones did fall a little flat as a character in terms as what he represents, and like you said, the themes for the arc, and in terms of his role as the arc villain, I definitely think he did what he was supposed to do. And the same with Wapo. They may not have blown the water out the park and, you know, been a Doflamingo or Kaido or super memorable, you know what I'm saying? But the take is they did fine, and I agree, they did fine.
Yeah,
that's because. Oh, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say that for Hordy Jones, it was literally, I think, the point to not be a lot of substance. It was supposed to be like, because I think they like, yo, what did niggas do to you specifically? And he was like, nothing. But that's not the point, right? It's like, I grew up with all this hate around me. People telling me like, yo, humans are the problem, right? Like I'm gonna succeed Arlong, who put, you know, stuck into the humans, and he himself had no real reason specifically, you know, to antagonize humans literally. But that's Oda making a comment on like, it's easy to make enemies you don't even know about, right? So, and
it's easy to fall victim to your environment.
Yep.
That's why at the end of that arc, they sealed off the terminal area where they were where all the poor fishmen were living, because that was an area that spawned a lot of like hatred and stuff like that, because, you know, that's where Arlong came from. That's where a lot of the fishmen pirates came from, the Sun Pirates, and a couple of them came from there. So like that was an area that was like spawn of that spawn for hatred. And like he was a kid taking in all that stuff in his environment. He was hearing a lot of different propaganda from Arlong. You know, Arlong was looked at like Arlong was looked at as like a leader of that area, and because he was looked at as a leader, you know, kids were looking up to him, and the kids that looked up to him ended up being Hordy Jones and some of his subordinates. So that was the point. Like, no, humans didn't directly do nothing to me, but I was told about it. And, you know, everybody around me seems to agree, because I still remember that scene when Arlong was talking and he was like, you know, spewing hate about humans, and everybody was like, yeah, Hordy Jones was looking around like, yeah, like he's a product of his environment. That was the whole point. So, you know, I love, that's why I you know, have an unpopular opinion that like I like Hordy Jones as a character in the sense of like his role and stuff. He's not like top tier villain like Doflamingo or nothing like that, but still he did his role pretty well. Also, he got folded because he was a benchmark villain. Like there's a lot of like, I feel like if he put up a better fight, maybe some people wouldn't feel like that, but he was a benchmark villain. Like the man souped himself up like 5 times in the whole entire arc, and Luffy was still folding him. And the whole point was like, you know, to show what the Straw Hats were capable of after the 2-year time skip. So.
Yeah, Luffy literally didn't try in a fight for 2 arcs after that. Like he literally only used Gear 4 for Doflamingo. So
Yeah.
like yeah, it was designed to that was the whole Fishman Island like crash. They're supposed to get cooked by the new Straw Hats. But yeah, we all agree on that the arc villain take.
Yep. It's definitely not a bad take at all. Let's keep going. Let's try and blitz these a little bit because we still got like 10 more, I think. Yeah, let's do it. Thriller Bark is peak One Piece, and I will die on this hill. This is cap.
Absolute cap. But I will say when Mod was like bringing up earlier, I fucking hate Thriller Bark. I was like, I'm so glad I put this one on the list for that reason.
Thank you.
That's a rough take.
Yeah, that is a rough take. Peak One Piece is crazy.
Peak One Piece is crazy. I think it does have one of the best moments in One Piece easily. I don't think it's enough to bring up the entire arc to peak status.
Yeah, I think it has some really some good things about it. Yeah, I really like the Straw Hats, teamwork in the arc. I also really think Thriller Bark is actually one of the funniest arcs. There's a lot of hilarious gags and shit, but yeah, the first before the Oars fight is dog shit, and then after it is only Kuma. So
yeah.
This is a crazy one. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you could call it. I'll accept good if you like it, like because everyone has their own taste. But peak is absolutely abysmal. Like, I just nah.
Yeah. Sorry, this is not a good take, anonymous user.
Yeah, but I feel like we have to respect that. That's the point of a hot take.
Yeah,
that is probably the hottest take that we've seen.
Yeah. Next take: Oda's writing development for female characters is pretty middling to weak. I don't agree
just
with
cooked
this.
That shit.
Robin was literally the first character that came to mind. Robin and Nami are actually very well written female characters. Now that I think about it,
I think one thing about the development point was that it kind of feels like I said, I think not every Straw Hat, but a lot of Straw Hats kind of fall to the wayside in post time skip, and I think it's easy to feel like things aren't changing or whatever. But it's just proof Egghead and this arc Elbaf is Oda putting it in our faces about how Robin's grown so much as a character. But it's we got the development earlier on. That's why it feels like.
I think that is the issue more so, is that because it's such a big, everlasting, expanding story that it's hard for every character, male, female, main, side, regardless. It's hard for every character outside of Luffy to continuously get spotlight. And so it can make it seem like they've been, like you said, put to the wayside. They haven't been receiving attention, development, when a lot of the strongest, most thoughtful characters in One Piece we've seen have great writing and development. And I think I'm just hammering the issue that you said. It's really just that we may not have seen it for some time, so it's hard to keep it in your mind. But there's definitely very strong, well-written female characters in One Piece.
Yeah, definitely. I will say though, probably the one that gets the biggest criticism of all the female characters is definitely Big Mom's writing.
What do people not like about it?
Well, some of the, you remember during Wano, some of the things that people didn't like how Big Mom was portrayed, how she was getting done in through the story via amnesia. People really hated that
dog shit. Oh my
god.
Yeah, that was ass. But is that a female specific thing? I think is the question.
Yeah, I don't think that was because Big Mom was a female.
Yeah, and though I guess that kind of it doesn't. I guess it's technically.
I mean,
the way the comment you could kind of.
Yeah, so they could be insinuating that due to her being a female. I get what you mean.
And that's very fair. But I would consider the writing and development in terms of who they are and how they got to this point or whatever. I do feel in Wano she got hold a lot, which is fair. And I know this is probably not popular, but I really hope she's not done, because I definitely need more from her in turn. I don't think getting the Soul Calibur ring out was a Big Mom-esque defeat. In terms of how grand she was as a character and how great a villain she is. So I can agree that I wish there was more. But I definitely don't agree with the statement of it overall.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's keep it going. Character growth or change in the second half has been non-existent for half of the, we just more or less talked about this. It's been non-existent for half of the show to get less screen time and had their original arc intros run their course. Yeah, this is more or less goes into the last point.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to disagree, I think.
I will say though that like that's only because if they're worried about screen time and stuff, most of the time that's because Oda has made everything more jam-packed, like in terms of like way more characters being introduced, way more, you know, fights, narratives, etc., plot threads running throughout the series now. Because now we're at a point where on ACAD alone, you know, you had so many outside forces, you know, doing their own thing, coinciding with ACAD. Usually we don't see that till like after an arc, but it's stuff happening during the arc, you know? And that just shows like how tightly woven these plot threads are becoming, to the point where now everything is affected. It's not just like, you know, just this small bubble here versus like something going on like after the fact, like over there. Now they're kind of coming together. They're being woven in together. So that more characters and stuff is always going to be like, you know, so some things are going to take a little bit of a back burner. But as long as Oda doesn't forget about characters, like don't give them no type shine, don't give them something here and there, you know, I'll be fine. Because he didn't do I will say, I don't think he did like a whole bunch for Nami in Wano. Like, yeah, we got some what's her face? Her and
Ulti?
No, not what I was gonna bring that up as the point, but not Ulti. What's her face? The girl Tama, yeah. We got like some Nami Tama stuff like at the beginning and stuff like that. But you know, once we got to the actual, you know, scenes and stuff for the Wano rebellion and stuff like that, you know, the biggest Nami moment was from the Ulti thing, and it wasn't like a whole bunch of Nami stuff before that. So I was okay with that. That was fine with me. Like, you know, good on Oda to give Nami some shine. Okay, next person. Like, you know.
I have a question about the kind of wording of this. Is that they say that character growth or change in the second half has been non-existent. Do you guys think that inherently is a problem? I think Nami is a great example.
Just the first half of the,
particularly like what they have the issue with, right? Like the character growth and change, like because Nami I think is an amazing example in that. I think Nami is a perfect character right now. I don't really think she has any things she has to get through. She had such an amazing, like Arlen Park was so succinct. And like she's had such a, and though it was only in a few chapters, it was a pretty grand issue, right? It was amazing. Like Nami's an amazing character, is my point, and I don't think she has to grow or change for her to still be a great character.
No, I mean some characters hit their growth earlier, and in terms of like their major come up or their major point in the story, and then they're cool. That happens all the time. Like, I not trying to get out of One Piece, but a perfect example that I think of immediately is like Tien from Dragon Ball, like Dragon Ball Z. Like, you ever watch the original Dragon Ball? This dude was a major villain and like major antagonist. He was a dick, but you know, through obviously Goku and whoever else, he became a lot better. And you know, after that, he wasn't like, you know, he didn't need to change anymore. And it just be like that. Now we got to go on to someone else who needs that type of attention. You know. But it and Nami, like you said, is literally the perfect example of that. Her character moment was Arlong Park. After that was done, we're good. Like, you know,
Yeah.
Unless they do, unless Oda introduce something else about her character and he wants to change just something else. But I think, like you said, she's perfect as the way she is. That's
Yeah, like if she doesn't get any change, I'll be completely fine with that. Like I think she's a great character.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely think this take is in a little bad faith, but I'm not completely mad at it. I can understand where they're coming from at the very least.
Yeah, I actually agree with the overall take. Yeah, absolutely. But I think some people need it more. I don't think Nami needs it.
Yeah.
Usopp, Frankie, Rook, or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. All right, a few more to go. Let's try and rapid fire through these. Wano is the best in work. We is this the same? Are we? Am I in the Twilight Zone?
I think we're at the Frankie one.
Oh, okay, so it's another batch of them. Original Frankie is far superior to all other Frankie designs.
I completely agree.
I kind of like his new fit. I'm not gonna lie. He looks, he does
Elbaf
look kind of weird.
Or
I'm indifferent. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's fair.
I'm indifferent. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't have very strong feelings towards either of his designs. I think he's a cool character overall. So
yeah, I never. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, word that. Yeah.
Niggas a fuck Frankie.
Yeah, nah. I never really like thought about it like one way or the other. I thought both of his designs were just fine, you know? Like I don't know. I guess I was surprised because I mean, if you look at like Frankie's design post time skip, I think his is obviously the most drastic change of anybody on the Straw Hats in terms of going from pre to post. But still, it's still dope. It still feels like Frankie, and on top of that, like, yeah, it's cool. So
yeah, I don't mind his you know, how he changed like physically at all. I just hate like his hairstyles and clothes choices a lot of the time. I think his Dress Rosa one was fire with the suit, and the cannon hair was cool. But there's hit and misses. It'd be like that.
Yeah, I agree.
We can skip.
Next is Gear 5 was an ass pull. We did.
I think it's a little different.
Right?
I think it's a little
Gear
different.
5 was an ass pull. Okay, so this is talking about not the themes or it removing the tension, but Gear 5 as a transformation being an ass pull.
Did it come out of nowhere?
No, I think they did a really good job in how. Okay, I want to.
I can give you the time frame if you want. In terms of the first time, I think Nika is mentioned by who's who in like the 1020s,
yes,
or 1015s. The fact that there's a special devil fruit that had its name changed was in 1036, something like that. Luffy like dies in like 1042 or 1043, and Gear 5 is introduced in 1044. So in the span of like 20-30 chapters, Nika is talked about. Someone's fruit on Wano is not this fruit that they should have, or like that we know it as. And then 5 chapters later, Luffy has a new fruit. I think that it's pretty fair for people to think that it kind of came out of nowhere. So yeah, in 1,000 chapters or 1,000 chapters.
So that's fair. Yeah.
The alluding to Nika in
like the sun god and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think
you don't count that for anything.
No, I definitely do. But I feel like the thread of like from there to where we were in Wano, like from Skypiea to Wano, was like only so like it was like, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like people were not gonna make I feel like people were not making the assumption, right? Like in Skypiea, or like when Wano, when we were talking about the Luffy's fruit or whatever, because some people thought it wasn't Luffy's fruit, some people thought it was Luffy's fruit or whatever. But when we were talking about what it could be or what Gear 5 will be, no one was bringing up that Skypiea panel. It was only after Luffy did the pose that people were like, "Oh, he did that in Skypiea," and I think that kind of speaks to it actually, in the sense of like, oh man, maybe it wasn't clearly foreshadowed, but also that's kind of fine too. That's not a big deal. But I definitely think the idea that Luffy had a new ability was like kind of fucking crazy, like out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I definitely agree with not an ass pull, but
yeah, it's not. I wouldn't call it per se an ass pull, really, but I will say that like I do think Oda could have done a better job at like if that was his plan. If Gear 5 wasn't like a spur of the moment thought. Because I know a lot of like especially shonen mangaka, they have a lot of them think on the fly and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
because it's a week to week thing, so they don't get a chance to always plan out. Now we know Oda definitely is one of the exceptions to this case in terms of playing out, but we do know that some stuff did come out of left field and it wasn't a part of original planning. And if Gear 5th doesn't fall into that boat and it falls into the boat of him planning shit, then he probably should have like he should have foreshadowed it a little bit sooner than how he did in that fashion, like Whitehouse pointed out.
And I think what's crazy is that it's only because Oda's foreshadowing ability is so legendary that it even like stands out of like as a not as good as it usually is. But again, it's not really a problem. I don't really give a fuck. I'm not gonna lie, but I agree with the overall premise, but not an ass. I don't think it's an ass. I wouldn't go that far.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. I'ma just say it. Robin over Nami. True. Indeed.
What?
Factuals.
Bro.
Very real statements being stated.
Yeah, I picked this literally because I knew Kyle would disagree.
Robin's the GOAT, man. I think, Robin's the GOAT. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I thought you were a big Nami fan. Am I?
No, he's a Robin fan.
I'm a Robin fan.
I honestly thought you picked that to validate what he was saying.
Oh, my bad. No, I thought he was being sarcastic. I don't know what I was on.
I am a fan of women, so I love.
Oh, real?
I love them both. You feel me? But so you put a gun to my head and you made me choose. Nami, it's been real, yo. But yeah, Robin's.
I mean, I'm not mad at that. Not mad at that at all.
Yeah, they both actually go to characters.
Yeah, for sure.
But I sadly agree with the overall take.
That's tough. Kuro is by far the best East Blue villain.
Dog shit taken.
Who's a better East Blue villain?
Arlong.
Arlong definitely by a lot.
I don't know why Arlong didn't even pop up in my head. Yeah, you're right.
Like it's not even close. I think Kuro is like cool.
Y'all got Don Krieg over Kuro?
I might, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Interesting.
As an overall villain,
I think I do actually. No question.
As an overall villain, like I'd probably say Kuro was a more interesting villain because he had that plan that he set up as a pirate retiree all the way up, and he played the long game like a mug. And those are traits that I'm like, damn, this dude is diabolical. Like I was more shook by Kuro than I was by Don Krieg, because to me this dude just felt like a yeller. Like he's just yelling like, I am Don Krieg of baseball. How dare you do this? Like I'm like, okay. Yeah, like the dudes that be yelling or talking the most are usually the one to get put down and humbled the worst. Like, so I already roll my eyes at Don Krieg. I mean, on paper he's menacing just because he had the thousands of troops and stuff like that, thousands of pirate crew members, and then ships, weaponry, all that. He's menacing on paper. But when I see him,
that was a bar.
Yeah, like he's menacing on paper. But when I actually see him and stuff versus Kuro, I'm more shooken by Kuro than I am of him.
Yeah,
that's fair.
That's definitely fair. That's definitely fair.
But yeah, I just think Arlong is the best East Blue villain.
Yeah, Arlong is the best by far. I don't know why he didn't pop in my head immediately when we talked about East Blue villains, but yeah, it's definitely Arlong for sure.
Yeah, next one is another Gear 5.
I don't like Gear 5. We can skip that.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, we did that.
Yeah, the last
three. The last three. I'm not a huge fan of hockey. I miss the Strawhats fighting people with wacky powers. I don't think this is a hot take. I think this is pretty generally.
I really like that take. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is a pretty generally accepted take. Yeah, I've seen this from a couple people that hockey took out a lot of the strategy and wackiness that was in pre-time skip fights with people figuring out how to use their devil fruit powers and just overall fighting powers in ways to counteract each other, as opposed to it just being hockey clashes every fight.
No, So I feel like I disagree, and I think I don't get me wrong. I do enjoy the wacky fights and stuff like that. I did enjoy like all that, but I see why hockey was introduced, because it was becoming I think Oda written himself into a corner with, like,
there were some unfuckable
Logia.
devil fruits. Yeah.
Yeah, like you couldn't have it forever where Luffy is running from Smoker. Like, you just couldn't have it like that. Like, this dude's not supposed to be the king of the pirates, and he's running forever from Smoker because he can't punch him. Like, that don't line up. He got lucky against Enel, which is fine, but it couldn't be like that. It just couldn't be like that forever, because after a while, like, you have to remember, One Piece at the end of the day is still a battle shonen. And yeah, it's not like there are wacky fights and stuff like that don't follow the traditional, like, shonen format, but at the same time, this is the same, like, general audience. Mm-hmm. So they expect some type of stability at some point. And like I said, it just would not make for a great shonen battle type if, like, forever, like I said, Luffy is running from a dude he can't punch. Like he can't even lay his hands on him. And it was becoming more, he introduced more Logias. Like, Ace was just straight up better than Luffy in, like, almost every regard, even outside of his devil fruit. And he had that. It's just like, well, damn, Oda, what is Luffy going to do against these dudes? And then the Admiral introduction, he's getting, like, dog walked there too. Like, it's this, I see why hockey was needed. I absolutely see why it was needed. Now, I don't know. I like hockey a lot because it brings stability to a series that, in my opinion, did need it at some point. Because, like I said, I feel like Oda was kind of writing himself into a corner with all these Logias introduced. Maybe if he didn't introduce so many Logias, maybe if there was like one Logia per, I don't know, 5 arcs or something. I don't know, but we just started seeing more.
I'm not against hockey as for what it does. He definitely, like you said, he needed it for the way he wrote the story. I do think that, but yeah, no, I'm not 100% mad at this take at the same time. I think that there's
I agree with, like, the spirit of it, in the sense of, like, when One Piece taps into those, like, cool abilities, it's, like, really, really at its highest a lot of times. And I also completely agree with you, Mon, in the sense of, like, it was necessary. And I fuck with hockey. Hockey is sick, in the sense, just seeing the sky splitting is the coolest thing ever.
Sky splitting, like, shit breaking that normally wouldn't be broken. Because, like I always said, these One Piece characters, if you take away their hockey and you take away their devil fruit, some of these dudes are just straight up strong. Like, just like how the One Piece world works. You do like 30,000 push-ups. You're picking up buildings. Like, it's like so you add hockey on top of that. These dudes are picking up mountains or punching mountains. It's like, it's crazy. So yeah, I mean, I like it. And also, when fuck, what was I going to say? I think I was going to say that when fuck, never mind. I thought well,
it's all good.
It flew out of my head.
If I could jump in,
I feel like I'm gonna remember a little later, and I would be like, "Fuck!" But
like later during the day, you feel like, "Yo, run the episode back." But I think that's part of why, like, I like the Big Mom and Kid in Law fight a lot. Was like, it was pure.
Oh, yeah, that right there. Yes, that's what I was gonna say. That right there. Yeah, I was gonna say that, like, if people really miss that, we had that, at least. And funny enough, people were complaining because some people were like, why wasn't Big Mom using her hockey? Why wasn't she using, like, Conqueror's hockey? I seen that. So you can't have, I mean, like, I know this is their hot take, so I get that. But,
yeah,
I think
it's always going to be some people on other side of, like, they're like, yeah, because when it comes down to established stuff, it can't deviate from that, which I definitely agree is a problem with that fight. But that's not the take, like you said. But yeah, I agree with the spirit of the take, that I want there to be more of those kind of fights of, like, well, devil fruit centric. And honestly, there are. Like, I feel like Kaido's devil fruit was used fine. Kizaru's abilities, Ghost Saturn's crazy ass whatever he was doing, all that stuff. So I don't think it's in a bad place at all. But I do understand the spirit of it. That's what I'm
Yes, sir.
Yeah, nice. Two more to go. One Piece is less funny after time skip. The reason I hooked to One Piece because I found it funny, then it started fading away.
I don't know if I would say fading away.
I feel, I kind of feel that.
I agree. I definitely agree. I think I belly laughed much in pre-time skip. Like I was just like, "Yo, these things are so stupid." I think also again, like it's getting to be more serious. There's so much on the line. There's all these big things that and all the other characters to worry about. That it's less about these stupid clowns and the Strawhat crew that are so funny. But yeah, I think it's completely a good take actually. Not completely, but I agree.
Yeah, I agree with this take. I never really thought about it till now, but yeah, I feel bad for this person honestly, because remember, like I said earlier, I said people, perceive the story differently, and they get into it for different reasons and stuff. And for this person, the comedy behind it was one of the reasons why they got into it, and now it's like it's not as funny, or like it's faded like way more.
Yeah.
And now they feel like, the thing that attached them to it is like kind of, I won't say gone, but it's not as
it is a hit for them. And
it's not as tethered. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes. Unfortunate for them. I do think that One Piece post time skip is still really funny, but it's so subjective. It is subjective at the end of the day. Everybody's gonna find different things funny.
Hey, I ain't gonna hold you. There ain't no moment more funny than when in Thriller Bark when they were teaming up, and Frankie was talking about the suit, basically everybody like linking up, and Robin's like, "I'm not doing that ridiculous pose." Oh, that shit was hilarious.
I'm not docking or whatever it was.
I'm not docking. Like that shit.
I'll tell you, Thriller Bark was so funny, bro.
Oh my goodness!
Luffy pushes the zombie back into the grave.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness gracious! Nah, yeah. I completely feel for that sentiment, because I do think some of the best moments I've ever seen in terms of like comedy did come from pre-time skip.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. All right, let's get the last hot pick take of the day. All right. Thanks, guys. Let's make an episode.
Why not? Be serious. You added this just to troll, right?
I demand. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Luffy is the god. I'm not even entertaining this.
You're so real for that, man.
But you know what? I actually found a cool hot take of my own that I would like to share. Did I save it? I'm a little bit scared. I don't think I saved. Okay, I didn't save it, unfortunately, but I do have the tweet in my head. It was that Blackbeard carries 2 devil fruits because he's pregnant.
Hey.
Are you serious?
Yo, the way you said that much killed me.
Because I'm over here like, really, like.
That was not serious. Like,
I just saw some stupid shit on Twitter.
The way you brought it up, like, yo, like, let me make sure I saved it. That shit, I was really locked in. I'm not gonna lie.
I was locked in too. That's why I was just like, really? Like, that's the big. What do you say?
Yeah.
Like.
I will say an actual real one that I had to make sure to bring up was one that I saw. I think Roger Bay said it, and then I saw Mr. replying to it on the Strawhat Sitdown account, and he brought it up in our group chat about how people have an idea that like Oda doing the OP live action is somehow having a negative effect on the manga, and so you should focus on the manga. First off, get a fucking life, bro. Like if let's say like there's a break every year for a month because of his other ventures, Nick, that's life. If One Piece came out once every 2 months, you should still be grateful, I think. So that's like a lame take in general. And also the live action is a great thing for One Piece. There was a take I don't think I put in here, but there was a take about how like telling people to watch live action first is a very valid starting point for One Piece, and I completely agree. So yeah, I just think that's something we had to get in there because Mr. felt very strongly about it. And yeah, man, shout out to Oda. He's the GOAT. That's why we're all here. So
Oda
Facts, like,
is indeed
period.
the GOAT. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it for. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna just say, like, you know, how different people can get into One Piece. You know, it completely depends on the type of medium that people consume anyway, right? Like, I have a coworker that don't watch nothing anime based, like nothing. He can't get into it, like nothing animated at all in general. But you know, I helped him get into the boys, and he loves that series, even though it's like superhero theme, but it has grittiness. It's, you know, gore, and all this other stuff, and he loves it. And like it might be easier to get into things based off of like what people are generally, you know, open to consuming anyway, right? And the fact that One Piece is hitting all these cylinders, we got you movies, we got you, you know, anime series. You didn't like the original anime because of the pacing issues or whatever. It's a little animation a little outdated. Don't worry, we got you with this. We remaking this series, you know, through Wiz Studios, you know, new updated animations, all that other stuff. Oh, you just don't like animations at all? Here's a live action. Like it's dope. Like,
hell yeah, bro.
You don't like watching none of this? Go to the manga. Here's a book. Like, you know, like it's just this is dope. I don't care what no one says. Like, like just straight up.
That's some facts, bro.
Yeah, 100%. Big shout outs to Oda, One Piece, the GOAT, peak story. Yeah, all right, that's gonna be it for today, I believe.
Yes,
big shout outs to everybody that hung out with us in chat today. We appreciate you guys. Everybody watching us live. If you're not watching us live, you need to be watching us live. Twitch.tv/Cali_Mac or at Strawhat Sitdown on YouTube every Sunday. Check us out. Big shout outs to everybody watching this after the fact on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, YouTube, etc., etc. Appreciate you guys as well. Make sure you guys follow us on all our socials at Strawhat Sitdown on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. You look for us, you will find us. We have a chapter this week, finally.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We have made it, guys. We made it. There's no need to clutch your pearls any longer. We are officially getting another chapter this week, and as you guys know, the Strawhat Sitdown will be here this Sunday to break down everything for you guys. So make sure you guys tune in then. Yeah, that's about it. That's gonna be it. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode, enjoyed the hot takes. Until next time, you guys take it easy, be safe, be healthy. We appreciate you guys, and we hope you enjoy your Sunday. Take it easy. Peace, peace, peace.
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 Who gon' get down? We are. This that Strawhat Sitdown. We are. Who the crew with the fleet? We are. Who gon' piece that One Piece? We are. Who gon' get down? We are. This that Strawhat Sitdown. We are. Who the crew with the fleet? We are. Who gon' piece that One Piece? We are. Strawhat Sitdown crew in the building. We Corona to these other podcasts. We gon' put these people in their feelings when they hear this and they know that they can't top this. We spit facts and you poppin'. Every time an episode is dropping, we see D3 in the corner. Mister, that's a real G with the green screen in the background. Got him looking like he in a real scene. We got Big Mod in the cut. Always ready with rebuttals, but he bring the knowledge when we in the huddle, so you know the crew is never gonna fumble. And it's wild, last but not least. If you ask me, then Cali, mad at Captain, make him rally around me. Every Sunday, we gon' run deep, and we can't stop until we find out about that One Piece. Who gon' get down? We are. This that Strawhat Sitdown. We are. Who the crew with the fleet? We are. Who gon' piece that One Piece? We are. Who gon' get down? We are. This that Strawhat Sitdown. We are. Who the crew with the fleet? We are. Who gon' piece that One